Ronnie's sex life from the wrap-up show.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, Ronnie letting a few family secrets out.
Really?
I think he was implying he fingered his cousin when he was 6 or something.
You know what? With the things that have come out of him lately, I'm not surprised.
All right. Yeah, I'll give you some Ronnie stuff from the wrap-up show, and then we can comment on it.
Do you think it's strange that people find it odd that you're tweeting about how hot your daughter-in-law is?
No, dude. All I said, I went to see my hot daughter-in-law in the hospital and check out the hot nurses.
Okay.
And put on fresh mambo.
Okay, I can.
What is so terrible?
Right.
I can dissect that into 3 parts.
Completely normal.
First of all, it's odd that you think your daughter-in-law is hot, even if she is, which she is. But
why is that odd?
because she's your daughter-in-law.
So what? But she's still hot.
Yeah, but I find that odd. The second thing is, should you really be trolling the hospitals at 4 in the morning looking at hot
It
nurses?
wasn't 4 in the morning, dude. It was 8 o'clock last night.
Oh, okay. But is that the only reason you went there, to look at the nurses?
No, to visit my hot daughter-in-law.
If your hot daughter-in-law worked with a bunch of garbage men, would you go to visit her as often?
No. Come on. It's
No,
a joke.
That's what, no, I agree with. Oh, so
Everybody takes everything.
I don't think it's a big deal.
And
at
Howard's
all.
busting my fucking balls. He's on there with his babysitters and shit, watching babysitter porn. That's normal.
It's not. Well, you know, it's not his babysitters, right?
Yeah, whatever, dude. It's the same thing as me making the comment. I have a hot daughter-in-law. What's the big fucking deal?
No, because
First of
one's
all-
fantasy and one's reality.
Yeah, but still.
One thing I've noticed about Ronnie, he always brings me up about what I'm doing. Whenever someone...
Everything is in comparison to you.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
You always hear when Howard does, but Howard does this and Howard does that. And first of all, I watch porno. It's not my... I'm not
it's
saying...
not your sister.
Well, it's also me not saying, gee, my kid's babysitter came over and I'm really hot for her. Like, certain things you just don't go there, you know?
But, I mean, still, there might not be a relationship.
Right.
A familial relationship between you and the babysitter. But that hasn't even happened. He's going way off the charts just talking about porn.
No, his hot daughter-in-law.
No, I'm talking about with you.
Yeah.
He's saying, Howard watches babysitter porn. You're looking at your daughter-in-law.
Well, anyway, so then... I guess one thing led to another, and I got into Ronnie's sex life.
Have you ever had sex with any of your cousins or other family members or anything like that?
No, I'm not from North Carolina or Georgia or anything like that. I'm from New York.
Yeah, see, that's such an arrogant, easy joke to make, you know, because you don't have the mind to make an adequate joke back. I just asked you a question. I didn't say there's anything wrong with it.
I gave you an adequate answer. No, I haven't, okay?
Wait, Ron, I thought you told me that story that you said it was cool to talk about on the air.
Have you considered it, Ronnie?
I didn't fuck my cousin, stupid.
Have you thought about it?
But the question
Yeah,
is
okay, Benji, all right.
you do not want to talk about it, or because you told me it was cool to talk about.
It was a long time ago.
All right.
Let's hear it, Ronnie. We got plenty of time left.
I think it's
Right,
a great
John?
story.
I was like 8 years old, 9 years old, whatever it was. What's the big deal?
And what happened? I thought Benji was just busting your balls. He's got a real story.
I don't know. I shouldn't go into it.
All right.
You know that sounds way worse, by
Exactly.
the way, than what it
Exactly.
actually is.
Covering it up makes it
Right
sound a
now,
lot
I have
worse.
visions of a creepy 8-year-old running around molesting.
No, I wasn't molesting anybody, dude.
Where are you guys going?
I was
with
having
this?
a good time.
Yeah, I sent it to everyone
At
on
8?
Lotus, and I asked Ronnie, is it
maybe
cool?
9. I don't know.
You were having a good time.
I was having a good time.
At 9.
What
Yeah, I kind of remember I was having a good time.
Well, what happened exactly?
I don't
I
wanna
mean,
go into-
talk
I don't
talk
wanna
in
go-
vague terms if you need to make it more comfortable for yourself. It's worse saying nothing.
Let's say I just used a finger on somebody. How's that?
when you were 9.
Can you get a boner at 9?
Yeah,
You get a boner as a fetus.
And she was related to you.
kind of. Yeah.
Well, first cousin is
Yeah,
related.
you can't get a boner at 9,
No. I mean, can you get one from sex? I mean, kids get boners.
dude. I used to have this girl come up to my house. She was like, I was 9, she was 10, and we used to like make out on the couch because my parents worked and they weren't home. We used to spend the whole afternoon, a lot of times after school, up in my house, laying on the couch, making out and like grinding at 9 and 10 years old, dude.
Good
It
Lord.
was cool shit.
Ronnie's very sexual.
Good Lord.
You don't realize what sexual dynamite
You know what? I
have.
used to think so much better of him when he never spoke.
Yeah. Well, I told him, what did I tell him when I brought him up here to be the bodyguard?
Be quiet.
I said, just stand in the hall and act like a wooden Indian. But he can't do it. He can't do it.
He's got to let it out. He's got to tell us
Yeah.
who he is.
Yeah, he sure does. Here. Yeah, he's a very romantic guy. Listen, he's got a whole bunch of sex stories.
I was like 16. My mother used to have these mahjong games in her house. And this woman that lived across the street, like up the block and across the street. We lived in this garden apartment development, and she had 2 kids. So she couldn't get a babysitter one night. I wasn't doing anything. So my mother said to me, could you go over and watch so-and-so's kids for her? I said,
Imagine Ronnie's your babysitter, Mr. Sensitive. Well, all right, but that's
People didn't care who they left their kids with at one time.
back in the day. You'd leave your kids with Charles Manson.
They'd leave them on the street.
Right.
Why not? So I'll go over there and watch TV. I went over there and watched TV. The margin game was over. She came back to the house and was sitting there, we're talking. I was sitting on the couch. The next thing I know, we're making out. And
Did you make the move? Did she make the move? Do you remember?
it was kind of mutual because the way she was sitting on the couch with me was like, you know, she was really like coming on, you know, like sitting next to me real close and shit like that. And she, started telling me, oh, my husband works nights and he's never home and this, that, and the other thing. And we're not getting along great and this whole deal. And next thing you know, we're making out and we're laying on the couch grinding each other. And I got my finger in her and
Whoa.
she jerked me off and I went home.
And how old was he then?
16. Ronnie.
And this is his mom's friend.
Yeah. Very sexual guy, Ronnie.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like The Graduate. Except Ronnie didn't graduate.
Summer of 42.
Remember The Graduate when he comes home from college?
Yeah. Gets Mrs. Robinson.
In this story, the guy comes home from his bread route and gets Mrs. Robinson. Yeah, Ronnie's a very sexual guy. You know, like, I mean, I talk to women like yourself and other women who, you know, are ladies. And they're like, Ronnie? And I go, yeah, he's a ladies' man, you know, with a certain...
Well, he's a throwback. And there are women who are very much...
He's a throwback. He's Cro-Magnon.
I'm Neanderthal.
You
Very
talk about babysitters, why can't I?
turned on by that element.
Yeah.
Ronnie looks like he can take care of himself in a fight.
Ronnie was twittering again yesterday, and this one we don't even know what it means. Jason said to me, can you figure out what this means? Waiting for boss, that's me.
Yes.
Waiting for boss, thinking about Charlie Sheen can't replace a one-of-a-kind, think about a new show, 4 to 9 p.m. on Mondays. One-of-a-kind just like me.
Oh.
LFSW. Oh, I see what he's saying.
He's saying Charlie Sheen can't be replaced.
He's in the car waiting for me. Yeah, I know he's a big 2.5 Men guy. He loves it. Mm-hmm. And he's saying, in his opinion, Charlie Sheen can't be replaced.
Right.
And think about a new show, 4 to 9 p.m. So they have to go out and find a new show.
Right.
That's what he's saying. He's just sitting in his car and he's being Les Moonves.
He's trying to tell CBS what they need to do.
Right. I think Les Moonves follows Ronnie. So.
Gets all his best ideas.
Yeah. I wonder what time he tweeted that. Doesn't say. Just wondering where I was, that he was waiting for me. I was probably over at the Apple store. I went over and bought every bit of I think I emptied out the Apple store. Yeah.
Do you know what LFSW stands for?
What's LFSW?
Let's fuck some whores.
Oh, wow.
He has his
Ronnie
own
speak.
abbreviation.
I've got Ronnie Bonnix.
Now I'm really getting into this Twitter.
LFSW.
LFSW. Any real fan knows.
If I don't tweet, they get pissed off.
Right. And what do? Nothing. You know what? I'm done with tweeting. I'm officially retiring. I was really enjoying it and stuff. I wake up this morning, right? I woke up at again, 1:30 in the morning. Couldn't get back to sleep. I talked to my psychiatrist about it. He worked through it with me, this and that, you know, and...
What's waking you up?
I'm impatient. I get up to pee, but then I lay in bed and I want everything. I went out and got all this new Mac equipment, and I had to set it up right away, and I'm trying to learn everything right away. It becomes the most important thing in my life. I obsess on it. So what happens is he figured out, you okay, Ron?
That's Ronnie? Oh, dear.
You need a woman's pussy juice. Oh. He's coughing. He's a mess. He's old. Anyway, you come in here.
You okay?
So I'm, I don't know. So I went to, so I went to the Apple store, and I switched everything over to Apple, and now I'm going crazy because I love the equipment. It looks cool.
Apple has a cool look.
Yeah, but I can't figure out certain things that used to be very easy to do on my Windows equipment. Mm-hmm. So now I'm I want to learn everything at once, and this doesn't work the right way, and I'm crazy, and I don't know how to bring up a picture, and and I get nuts. I get crazy, and then I lay in bed and I want to do everything. I want to be reading a book, reading a magazine, be on my computer. And my psychiatrist was explaining to me that, you have to learn to be patient and that you can't drive yourself crazy. You can't.
The whole idea is the journey's the good time.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Not the destination.
Well, so he worked on that with me. And then we got into, of course, my relationship with my parents. It always comes back to all that. So, heavy stuff. Anyway.
Don't tell them that it's about them.
Oh, no, my mother. Oh, my mother was like.
Don't
my
mention
mother
that
is
to
so
him.
threatened. She's like, yeah, you went to the psychiatrist? Where do you go? Psychiatrist? Yeah, I go to a psychiatrist. Oh, yeah, what does he have to say about it? Really? You need that? There's something wrong? Well, I have some issues. Issues you have? Yeah. What, you talk about me? I go, sometimes you come up. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm so terrible, right? I'm so horrible. I did such a horrible job. No, I didn't say you did a horrible job. Yeah? So what are you doing in there with him? What do you see? You don't need a psychiatrist, believe me. You got too much time on your hands with the psychiatrist. Big waste of time. Talk to me.
You don't understand.
So,
you could
right.
be cured already.
Yeah, she could cure me. So anyway, I got all this Apple equipment. I'll tell you about that later. But I wake up this. We're talking about Twitter.
Yeah.
I wake up this morning, 1:30. So I get sucked in, and I go down to see if I could check my email. And even the email used to always come through during the night. Now, when you take the Apple out of suspend mode, then your email finally comes through. And it's
really? It doesn't just come.
No. I got all upset about that, and I'm upset. So I said, let me check my Twitter account, because I haven't been on it for a while. Put it on. The first tweet I read. All right, listen to it. The guy
everybody hates you right away, right?
Well, yeah, the guy. Now, mind you, I haven't been on. It's too much content. The guy goes, just seems to me you're going through the motions with the show. I mean, mind you, I spent all day yesterday here plotting for the show.
Yeah, high-level meetings.
Oh, my God. I'm bringing everyone into meetings. I'm working on the show. I'm up at 1 in the morning working on the show. First thing I read, just seems to me you're going through the motions, and you're really not. Why don't you put some energy into the show? And I was like,
who is this?
Who is this fucking piece of shit? Like, all right, if you don't like the show, don't subscribe, don't listen, leave. I brought that up to my psychiatrist, these haters, and he just said, well, they're just jealous. I go, well, maybe I just suck. He goes, well, did you get any nicey with Twitters? I go, yeah. Everyone was like, hey, show's never been better. It's great, blah, blah, blah. He goes, well, what about those? And what about your own opinion? What do you think of the show? I go, I think the show's great. And he goes, well, we'll fucking hold on to that. And I'm like, I can't. It's always the one guy. What'd you get on the Twitter?
I get a lot of hate shit, but actually this morning, the tweet I put out,
the
one with the Charlie Sheen thing,
you
can't replace Charlie Sheen, you know, and all that, and they might as well think of a new show for Monday night at 9 o'clock.
Right.
And he's a one of a kind, just like me. So all of a sudden, I get tweets just now. It's like, yeah, you're right. You should have a show. All this kind of, all of a sudden, now it's positive shit.
Because you were negative.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But most of the time, it's all like the shit I put, if I'm going to visit my daughter-in-law in the hospital.
Right.
Oh, my God, the shit I caught for that.
Right.
I'm a fucking pervert. I'm this, I'm that. I'm creepy. I'm an asshole.
Do you like being on Twitter?
It's all right, dude. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. Yeah. Once in a while I go on. I don't go on all the time.
Met any chicks on there?
Some chick sent me a picture of her tits the other day.
Right.
And she wanted to get a tryout at Rick's.
Yeah, you gonna let her go over there?
Was she any good?
I don't know. I didn't even know where she's from.
You have to hit her back and get a little dialogue.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's
a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole.
It's like,
well,
hey,
how were the
tits? The tits were nice.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's you don't even know really if it's a girl or not.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Don't get started.
It's a bunch of No, I'm not.
Believe me, if she wants to get a job at Rick's, she'll go
with tits like that, she could have got a job with no problem. She doesn't need a tryout at Rick's.
How hard is it to audition?
Meanwhile, I mentioned on the air yesterday how hot that picture of Adrienne Curry was that she tweeted, where she was in an apron and her ass is just sticking out.
Yeah.
So she wrote on her Twitter, gee, thank you, Howard Stern, for, saying that. So she doubled her amount of viewers and stuff. So I wrote her back. I go, think nothing of it, blah, blah, blah. So then I go on her Twitter page because I want to see all her pictures.
Uh-huh.
But there's nowhere to go to see all of her pictures. You know what I mean? Like, you have to find a link.
It's not like Facebook.
No, so I found like 3 of them. Jesus Christ, what she's doing on that Twitter.
What is she up to? What are the other pictures like?
Sometimes they're just so, I think she's super hot. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I think
she's got a great ass.
Oh, my God.
Awesome.
Just shots of her ass and her.
It's like my daughter-in-law.
Right.
Oh!
And then like she was talking about she was dieting, so for 4 days she didn't eat any carbs, and she's showing her stomach. Everything's like naked, and then there's one picture she has with her like it's like Egyptian or something. It's a bunch of girls all laying around, almost naked. Everything's naked. She loves being naked. I'm like, fuck, this is. I'm following her now.
Well, that's like
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Her life, I'm sure, is that because she went out to Hollywood to be famous.
Yeah, I tell you.
But what is she actually doing? Is she actually doing anything?
Look, she won America's Top Model, and no offense, I think she's a hot chick and everything, but no girl who's ever won America's Top Model has ever gone on with a real legitimate...
Is a top model.
Right. In other words, top models don't need to go on America's Top Model. They always have something wrong with them. Their face is a little busted or something. They're not real models, and they're never going to be real models. Real models start working when they're... Like my wife was a working model. She started working when she was 9, and then she went and she left college. She was getting so much work.
She wouldn't have had time for top model.
Yeah, in other words, she was actually working. She was actually making money. Top model is for women who never can get a modeling career.
Right.
And there's a reason they can't.
But what is she actually? Is she doing anything now?
I don't know. I'll tell you what. She's a fucking sexy woman.
Well, you thought that when we met her.
Yeah, she's sexy. I mean, she loves to be naked and show pictures of her ass. I mean, some girls love to show it off, man, and it's
They're
thank God.
sex goddesses.
They love it. There's demure women, and then there's women who there's no in between sometimes. It's fucking crazy.
What would be the in-between?
I don't know. But my God, that girl loves to, and then she just takes picture after picture of herself, and I'm like, this is a good tweet. Now there's
a Twitter account I could follow.
Now, if she had 7 million followers, I'd understand. But some people I see, they got Twitter followers. I'm like, well, who the hell's following them? They're not posting anything interesting.
I'm up to 20,000.
Are you? Look at you.
Yeah.
You could overthrow Egypt with those kind of numbers.
Look at that. 20,000.
Yeah. What are you
I figured
do?
I'd have 200 if the most.
Yeah. What are you going to do with that? You got now there's pressure. You got to put out tweets.
I do once in a while.
Yeah.
Like this morning.
You shouldn't
I was waiting for you to come out. I put that
yourself
out.
with
You did?
Yeah.
I saw a tweet last night. Baba Booey lost a vote. This
Wait a
is
minute, what happened?
This is the craziest thing. For those of you who don't know, Baba Booey is running for. He's not even running.
It's an appointment, and they have to
approve him.
Yeah.
On a town board where it's parks and recreation type stuff. Well, Baba Booey wasn't even looking to do it, but they asked him to volunteer. They can't get anyone from the community to do it. So they vote on him, and some woman is all crabby about him because he works on the Howard Stern show, and all of a sudden now he's in a controversy that he doesn't want to be in. And you know Gary. Gary's just a good dude, man.
Now it's a dogfight.
Yeah. Now that I saw Steve, we have a Twitter feed called Howard 100 News or something like that, and it said on the Twitter feed from Steve Langford that Gary lost a vote last night.
What?
Is that true?
That is true.
You lost the vote.
Yeah, but it's not the vote to get in.
What is it?
This again, I was telling you that there's 2 votes that are advisory. Meaning, I could have lost the first vote 0 to 12. I could lose last night 0 to 12, and then Monday's the real vote,
right?
The actual vote,
right?
So last night was
what did you lose?
The Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. I lost 7 to 5. They voted no.
I'm stupid. I'm not understanding for some reason.
Okay, so there's an appointments board.
Okay,
right? You go in front of that, but it's advisory, meaning they're saying to the people who are eventually going to vote.
Here's what we think.
Here's what we think. Then the Parks and Rec Board, it's the same thing. The Parks and Rec Board is saying last night, here's what we think.
Right.
But it's got to go.
So the Parks and Rec Board thought that you shouldn't be.
But not the board I'm going to sit on. This is
right.
it's very hard to
the
explain.
The advisory board is saying we feel he's not a good candidate.
It's almost like when a bill comes out of committee. The committee says, we don't think this bill is all that great.
So how do you think that happened?
Well, you should have been there.
What happened?
I mean, how do I think? I mean.
What is going on?
They asked me a lot of, it's parks and recreation, so there's a lot, everyone's got a lot of different agendas. So there's a lot of people who, my strength is in fields, because I know what fields we use and what we need, and I think what a lot of people were saying last night, that they're more concerned with things like open fields and trails and the beaches, and that since my strengths weren't there.
Oh, my God.
That I'm not really.
They're really scrutinizing him. Do you think they pay attention to who comes before that board?
Right.
This is what I say. This is what I found.
No.
The irony I found last evening was that everybody on the board had a different agenda. Right. Somebody's just about the trails. Somebody's just about the beaches. Yet they want somebody to be on the board who has no agenda.
Can't you study open fields if that's your weakness?
I could, and I have.
All right.
I actually have.
Right.
And so I think some people were utilizing that to, and then a couple of people brought up. They said, "Hey, I think you seem like a really good guy. I think you'd make a great candidate." I got to tell you that my problem is I'm afraid that every time there's a meeting, it's going to be discussed on the show. And I said to them,
"Oh my God,
that's crazy! Like, what would we care about those board meetings?"
I said, "Here's what's going on.
Yeah.
I came before the first board. It was in the newspaper.
Right.
So we covered what was in the newspaper. I said, once we get to the nuts and bolts of what's going on, I guarantee you that the people I work with will be bored with it."
It's like you're actually begging them for this position.
But I'm not.
You should say,
Gary, why don't you tell them to go fuck off?
Yeah, right. You know what, Gary? Turn to him and just say, "Listen, I don't need this aggravation. You guys asked me to volunteer for this.
Find somebody else.
Find someone else. God love you.
Who loves the community and wants to participate. Leave me alone.
I just want to live here in peace and quiet."
They're looking for a person who understands. This is what I think. They're looking for a person who understands turf fields versus grass fields, botany, erosion of trails, and the beaches to work for free, by the way.
And how many of them, by the way, understand
are there?
that?
Yeah, let me tell you, but everyone understands their own little thing.
Right. Well, here's what I understand. They're all fucking insane.
You're telling me everybody else on this Parks and Recreation Board who's sitting there now knows about open trails as opposed to fields?
No.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. But anyway, I go in front of the big vote on Monday. I am considering not running, but probably not.
You know what? You want my advice?
Yeah.
Why don't you just say to them, "Listen, you guys, this is causing too much of an uproar. I'm not looking for this job."
You know what is sad? Because I feel that Gary's now
being
in that position of something that has nothing to do with what he's going to be doing is overshadowing this appointment.
Gary is being disparaged. Was the woman with the bag of shit there?
She was, because
every one she goes to.
Oh, she's having a ball.
Well, what happens is after...
You know she has no life if she's going to every one of these meetings.
They ask me a bunch of questions, and everybody, that people can raise their hand and get up and speak. They have 3 minutes. So a guy I coach with, who's a great guy, got up and talked about what an asset I'd be. Another guy who knows me got up and said what an asset I'd be. So I was like, oh, this is going well.
Right.
Then also
she stood up,
and she was, she just was,
What did she say?
She talked about how
she threw baloney at
No. They didn't get into that. That's sort of old hat now, because they have new things.
Got to have new stuff.
She got into that you're not qualified.
No, she got into that the way that she was talked about on the radio. People shouldn't be talked about that way. That people shouldn't be bullied.
Well, maybe she shouldn't be bullying you. Maybe she shouldn't be talking about you that way.
But again, Gary's about to become the only person who has never been approved.
That is true, Robin.
Right. I mean, she shouldn't be talked about on the radio. She's causing...
Or in a way, she didn't like the way she was discussed.
Yeah,
well,
so now we have to discuss her in the way she likes.
Yeah. What way would that be? I'm sure it's very interesting.
I think without curse words.
Well, fuck her.
Maybe she shouldn't put shit in her mailbox.
Right.
Well, she didn't.
She didn't.
Nobody's accusing
No one's
anybody
accusing
of anything.
I'm not accusing.
Yes, you are, but you can't do that.
Let her fuck herself.
You really want this position, huh?
I got to tell you, I really don't care.
Right.
My feeling is, again, I'm here to volunteer. If all those things that I talked about, if you put an ad in the paper and said you were paying someone $60,000 a year, I don't think you can find somebody qualified that knows all those different things.
You know what's lovely about you? You're really a lovely guy. I said this about Gary, all jokes aside. This is a great guy, and a guy who actually would put his energy into this thing. And it's such a crazy fucking world we live in. This is exactly what the problems are in the world. You've got nudniks and nonsense people who don't, they're low brain power.
Right.
And a lot of them don't have to do anything for life or living or this and that.
And they get something like this, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I could be in charge.
It's just, yeah, exactly. It's just like these, these nutty politicians who get into the abortion, and they really have no business being involved in it. Or they get into social issues. They comment on
gay
gays,
marriage.
gay marriage. It's nonsense. They need someone in the community who would be devoted to this to sit on a board. They can't find anyone to do it, mind you.
Well, that's part of what they were saying, that they haven't found anybody.
Yeah. And
so they're going to go, they want to look for other people.
Right.
Talking about what you're talking about, just get off for a second. Did you see that comment that Mike Huckabee made about
Obama?
No, Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
That's
a
hurting
perfect
him.
example.
That's hurting him.
Well, thank God, because it's a perfect example. Mike Huckabee is involved in trivia. The guy's talking about being a president of the United States. He's commenting on Natalie Portman.
Minutia.
Yeah,
Minutia. Newt Gingrich now, I saw him. He's thinking of running for president. He's commenting on morality. He's become a Christian. And here's a guy who has done things to people in their personal lives that is unbelievable.
How many marriages has he had so far?
Three. And, one of them, he went to work out the divorce while the woman was on chemotherapy or something crazy like that.
Well, she had just awakened from surgery or something, and he asked for a divorce.
People are nuts. This is the craziest thing ever. But, God love you. You're willing to sit there and take this abuse.
But don't you think in the end they're going to, just vote him out?
I'll tell you what it is. I understand where
After all of this bullcrap?
I understand where Gary's coming from. On the one hand, you want to just go, for Christ's sake. Who needs this?
Yeah, right.
Goodbye. But this woman who started in with the trouble, someone needs to stand up to her because, quite frankly, she is a bully. She is the bully. She says, I'm being bullied. No, she's not. She's not being bullied at all.
We didn't know anything about her.
She is a bully. She went in there like a bovan and started in with this guy with an agenda. She's got something about a relative 100 years ago who was a woman suffragette. And she's decided to make a name for herself in this community by going up with Baba Booey, who's just a dad and a member of the community. He ain't in the mafia.
He works for a living.
Yeah, he works for a living.
I've never been arrested. Yeah. I don't even have a parking ticket.
Right. And the thing is, she is a bully. I know from bullies. She's a bully. She's decided her shit doesn't stink. It's ironic that she's walking around with a bag of shit because she thinks her shit doesn't stink. And she's going to make a morality judgment on this guy. That's the bully, not us. What? Of course we're going to talk about it. He's a producer on my show, and there's a woman sitting there saying terrible things about him, about me.
Well, that's what.
And the show has nothing. And the show has nothing to do with whether you're on the board or not.
And some of the people were sort of like, whether this conversation that's going on now, they don't care. They don't care about the show one way or another.
Bullshit.
They're just not looking for this conversation. But I don't believe that.
They can't find a person to volunteer for this board. None of them are qualified in the way they're looking for someone. They don't have those qualifications.
Not all of them.
All of them. They don't have.
Not right. One person.
They all
has
have a certain area.
Right.
Same as you. You were a coach. You know about the baseball fields. Big fucking deal. You're carrying on this unimportant fucking position. They need someone to fill a chair, and you're willing to do it. The guy's willing to do it. How many people in your community are willing to volunteer to do anything? I know I'm not. I wouldn't even spend 2 minutes on it. I'm so goddamn busy. I'm learning that Apple computer and Photoshop and a Nikon camera. I'm not giving up 5 minutes of my life for the community. But this guy's willing to do it. God love him. He's 10 times better man than I am. He really is. Best father I've ever seen. Hands down. Boom. Great guy. Connected to the community. Into it, helps these boys out with the baseball. I mean, who the fuck gives a shit?
He slept in a submarine.
I guarantee you, I guarantee you, nobody does that. Nobody. People don't volunteer their time. It's like these assholes who are against the abortions every minute with the abortions. They don't adopt one of these kids. They're all full of shit. They're hypocrites. One thing, you're against abortion and you start adopting babies. God bless you. I'll respect you. These are people, they tell them busy, shouldn't be any abortions.
They leave you with the baby.
What are you going to do with all these babies that are unwanted? What are you kidding me? It's the same bunch of horse shit. Anyway, I'm sorry you're going through that.
Thank you.
Well, I think now he has to stay in it and just not let them, let them have to actually vote him out.
Right.
Well, yeah, to get back to Ronnie's point, I'm saying, like, now at this point he's gone so far, if he resigns, that woman goes, you see, I won.
Right.
But again, I don't think that the 12 people last night are they're supposed to represent the 230 people, but I don't necessarily think they do from what I'm being told.
There was a great movie about what Gary's going through right now. It was called Caddyshack. Remember, Ted Knight is the head of the country club.
Right.
And he's trying to keep out Rodney Dangerfield. And this is what it reminds me of. You know, it's like... you can't be a member of the golf club. You know, you don't fit in. You're
not one of us.
Yeah, she's a snob, and she doesn't know you, and she's got some goddamn nerves calling us bullies. She's the bully. She's bullying you, pal.
By the way, you know who's no help at all?
Who? Steve Langford. Well, by the way, none of this would have occurred if it wasn't for Steve Langford.
He's making all of this possible.
Yeah.
I will tell you that as I was walking out the door last night, I saw Langford get into the elevator, and I heard Langford yell, "Don't push me! I have every right to be here." So I don't know who knows? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Who knows what he's doing? He's not helping the situation.
I'm sitting there being grilled, and he's got a microphone right up to my mouth.
Right. Well, first of all, this woman would never hear anything. Steve's busy reporting it.
But you know what? I want to point out that that's just not the truth. But Steve being there got it to us quicker. There was an article in the newspaper the next day. A fan would have sent it in, and you would have read it. Right. You would have read all the comments. It would have been any different.
Right. All right, Gary, that's good. Ronnie, what were we talking to you about?
Twitter.
Twitter.
Oh, yeah, but hey, so you said on the wrap-up show, you implied anyway, that there was some fingering going on with a relative.
Right.
And then also you fucked. I never knew this story. You fucked your mother's mahjong.
Yeah, the neighbor.
No, I didn't fuck her.
Oh, she gave you a hand job.
She gave me a hand job, and I fingered her.
Wow. And why did you never? My question was, after hearing the story, why did you never go back again and like fuck her or do stuff with her?
Well, I don't know. It was like, well, she was married, of course,
right.
And
who cares?
It never happened again, and they moved away. And then years later, I ran into her in another neighborhood when I moved into my neighborhood.
Yeah.
After I got married and shit, and I ran into her in the supermarket.
Right.
And it was, hi, how are you? And that was it. Yeah, that was it.
So you acted like nothing
Never
happened.
saw her again.
That was definitely summer '42. You were 16 years old.
Yeah, I was 16.
It literally might have been 1942. Yeah. This guy.
Yeah, right.
But seriously, you were 16 years old. Was the woman decent looking?
Nah, not really.
Not really. Was she fat?
In between.
Yeah.
But
what the hell, when you're 16 and your dick's hard?
And the weird part, too, she was a lot younger than, the women that my mother hung out with.
Right.
They played mahjong. This woman was, 35, and she had no life, so...
Right.
She was playing fucking mahjong,
And then when you
and she had nobody to watch her kids, so...
And when Ronnie wears those tight shirts and stuff, fucking women go crazy.
Well,
And there was no Mambo back then, either.
Ronnie
It was Old Spice.
Gotten something for babysitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, hey.
So, how's it go down? She, takes your pants off and, pulls...
No, it was really weird, because she came home from the mahjong game, and I was sitting there watching TV, and I'm sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
And she comes in, and she sat down. We start talking. And I go, yeah, how was the mahjong game? And all this kind of bullshit. And, it was general bullshit. And all
Can he say something besides bullshit?
He curses a lot.
Well, it was general talk, okay?
Yeah, by the way, pretend we're on terrestrial radio. You might sound a little more intelligent.
It was general talking.
Right,
We were just
right.
talking about, I don't know, maybe the TV show. I don't remember exactly how it went down.
Hey, that Howdy Doody, he's great.
Yeah, yeah. So, we were just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, she was sitting real close, and I put, she was, right up against me, so I, kind of, leaned in.
To see what would happen?
Yeah, and then we started making out, and the next thing I know, we're laying on the couch, and we're, grinding on the couch and shit.
Wow.
And one thing led to another, and that was it.
Would you have been able to make a move like that at 16?
Probably not.
But it was so obvious, though.
Even if the woman, if one of your mother's friends sat close
Who cares,
to you
my
on
mother's
the couch.
friend? Who cares?
I'm asking Howard.
I would have loved that. My mom, most of her friends were pigs, but she had a couple of friends who I thought were kind of hot.
Yeah. And if they had
now that I think about it, though, she could, it's like you hear about all the stuff in the newspaper about these school teachers.
Yeah,
she could have went to jail.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah, you're underage.
You're one of those kids.
No, it was weird.
I was jailbait.
But hey, I was thrilled, man. I'm not turning her in.
You didn't turn her in. You never told one of your friends?
Never told. Well, yeah, I told my friends.
You were.
Never told my mother, though.
You were underage. You are.
If she's listening now, she knows. Wherever she is.
I wonder if she did that with any other kids.
I don't know.
So then you start making out, and then like she grabs your dick and jerks it off.
No. Then we started making out, and we were sitting up and then now we're laying like across the couch, you know, like real close to each other. You know, I mean, you're on a couch, you got to be close, you know. And then she stuck a hand down my pants, and I stuck my hand down her pants, and.
And had you had sex with others?
Oh yeah,
already?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's very advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first girlfriend was at 13.
And you had sex with your first girlfriend?
Well, we didn't go all the way, but you know, I got jerked off. And
at 13.
She used to come home from school, you know. She went to Catholic school, and I'd meet her at the bus stop, and then we'd go to my house because my parents worked, and they didn't come home till like 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And then I'd meet her, and we'd go up to my house, and we'd hang out all afternoon in my bedroom.
Imagine hanging out all afternoon with him.
Oh my God.
And then she was like, her parents like real strict Catholics.
Yeah.
And like, her parents didn't want her near me because I was Jewish. Okay, so it was one of those kind of deals.
You sure it was because you were Jewish?
No, that was the only.
I think that was one of many things.
So, so one day I'm standing at the bus stop waiting at the bus stop to go to school.
Yeah.
And this, I
think Ronnie thinks it's because he was Jewish. Yeah, go ahead.
I knew her father's car, you know, because I actually what happened one time, I was up in her house. And she didn't expect anybody to come home. And somebody came home. Her mother came home. And I hid in the closet. No lie. I hid in the closet until her mother went in the bathroom. And then she snuck me out of the house.
Wow.
So,
you are a movie.
So then, like, what happened was one day...
You're like Ferris Bueller.
I'm standing at the bus stop, and the car pulls up, and I knew it was her father. Guy was like 6'4", big Irish guy, comes out and he comes over to me, and he just points his finger in my face, and he says, "I don't want you anywhere near my daughter ever. Stay away from her."
Right.
And I just looked at him and I said, "Okay," and that was it. And then we just kept meeting secretly, and you know, whatever.
Wow,
yeah, it was cool. She was cool.
So what happened? Why'd you break up with her? It sounds like she was doing.
Well, no.
Right.
Then here's the funny part. Then she moved away.
Right.
Okay,
everybody moves away from
She moved up to
it's like the Frankenstein monster.
She moved up to the Bronx.
Right.
And up in like the upper Bronx. And like when I was around 17, 18, when I got my driver's license, all of a sudden one day, one of her friends told me, so-and-so wants you to call her. Here's her number. Some girl that still lived in the neighborhood.
Right.
So I called her.
Well, you must be good in the sack.
And I used to go up there. I used to go up there. I used to cut school. This was like in my senior year in high school. I used to cut school and go up and meet her at her house.
Yeah.
While her parents were working, you know, and we'd get it on. And,
no kidding.
You know.
Look at you.
But then I never saw her again after that. I saw her like a couple of times, and then.
Well, you know one thing. You never had any trouble getting laid, huh?
No.
Huh?
No.
Maybe you should write a book.
Maybe.
How to get girls.
Maybe.
First you sit next to them. Then, like, you put on the mambo.
Dude, that was weird, though.
And then you shove the finger in their pussies. Wow.
A lot of weird shit, man.
Man, I wish I had pictures of that woman.
I got other stories, but I can't.
Oh, what do you mean?
I can't go into them.
How come?
I can't.
You mean some of the ones I know?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some good ones about him.
Oh, jeez.
And he knows good ones about me, so.
Uh-oh.
I don't betray him, he don't betray me.
You got that brotherhood going.
Yeah, we keep that shit quiet. But, you know, you sit in that car long enough, all the truth comes out.
By the way, the other day when you were saying something about your chili and how it makes you fart, Ronnie agreed. I was sitting in the...
He's full of shit. I haven't fart once.
You never fart in the car. Yeah, okay.
I didn't fart once yesterday.
Not yes. I didn't say yesterday.
Okay.
You just said that chili makes you fart up a storm, and Ronnie goes, "Yes, it does."
He's full of shit. He acts like he has this whole thing about me that I'm busy farting back there. And
what?
Clipping my nails.
Dude, he used to tell me, "All right, putting the window down. You better hold your breath."
Well, that was years ago when I overate. Get out of here. All right, Ronnie's on Twitter now, so go follow him.
But you had to see him yesterday, though, with his computers. He was out of his mind.
What do you mean?
He came down to the car, and he got all his new computer stuff.
Yes.
He comes down to the car with all these cords, and he's rebuilding the whole back of the car.
I was ripping the car back.
He was ripping all these wires out. And
really?
Oh my God, what was going on back there?
Hey, I was going to ask you to do it. I do things myself.
No, I fixed it up for you.
Yeah, right.
Wait a minute. You got wires in the car?
Well, for my laptop, I need power back there because sometimes with laptops, although they say the Apple ones, they last a long time.
They have a good battery?
But like sometimes I'll be running around all day and I'm low on power, so I can power up back there.
Yeah,
and
we
use
have
my laptop.
I have a converter in there, like house power.
Yeah.
You can plug in.
Yeah. So I bought an extra, $79 Apple charges just for a power cord.
Really? Well, they got you.
Well, that's what they get you on the accessories.
Yeah, because you can't go anywhere else.
And you got to see this thing because I guarantee eventually he's going to break it somehow.
Right.
It's the thing that connects into the computer is so delicate looking.
Oh.
It's got to break eventually.
You think?
I mean, the one you had before for the other computer, that was like real heavy duty shit.
Well, don't start telling me Apple's no good.
I didn't say it was no good.
Because I just
There's
trashed
nothing else.
I just trashed all my equipment.
He just rebuilt the whole car back there.
But what lines were you running back there?
Oh man, I was running cord, and I was. You know what that is? I'm so insane and impatient that once I switch stuff on, and I bought a lot of equipment, so it's going to take a while to switch over. I want it done fucking now.
Why can't it be now?
I'm taking out the old cords. I'm putting in new cords. He saw me back there. I was going berserk.
Yeah, and then he's got the old cords, and they're all tangled, and they're laying on the floor. And he goes, I'm late. I got to go to this appointment. I'll fix it later. And I open the door.
It alone.
Wait, he gets out of the car, and I go back, and it's all laying there like a big pile of spaghetti.
I had to leave. I was late for an appointment.
But I fixed it all up. I rolled it all up. And
You did a good job.
Yeah, it's all fixed up.
But,
all right,
might as well. Either you're going to tweet or you're going to wrap cord.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
All right, later.
Yeah, I was on fire buying new computer equipment.
Why did you just... I don't understand. All of a sudden, you had to have Apple.
Once I make a decision, it's got to happen today.
You've been a PC guy for...
20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't matter. It's over.
It's over with you and the
And I said, yeah. So I took all my computers, I pushed them off the desk. I went over to that Apple store, I bought a couple of computers.
You're not even leaving one laptop there for backup.
Backup, schmack up. And then I was generally pleased. It was very easy to set up the stuff, which, as everyone always claims, and the problem is getting used to a new setup,
Right.
The simplest task I can't figure out.
And I keep thinking I'm going to go over to this Apple store and take a class, and I never do.
Oh, you've got an Apple, right?
I have the iPad, and I was just, and they say once you learn one Apple product, they all work the same.
Maybe. I don't know. But I'm new to it. But I might take some of those classes myself. But what am I going to do? Sit there and take a class?
I know. I got to sign up.
Yeah. And they go, you can get on your computer and sign up for a class.
Right.
I'm like, great, that'll be easy. I need an Apple tutor. So anyway, I was on fire, man. I'm hooking everything up. I have to have it done. Fire! Let's get going. Come on, man. But I can't figure out the simplest thing how to do it. I mean, like, it's a new way of doing things, and I don't even like working with the mouse, and it annoys my wrist, and. I'm angry. Everything makes me angry. Everything makes me nuts. Anything new makes me crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm crazy. I'm like, like
now you can't sleep again.
Yeah, right. I can't sleep. And I go, I don't know. This keyboard is smaller. Now I got to use a mouse. I used to have this.
Yeah,
thing.
How is the keyboard?
Keyboard's fine. It's small. It's great because why I like it, and you would like this, I think.
How heavy is it? Number one.
I'm going to tell you. I have a monitor on my desk. Mm-hmm. And the monitor is up off the desk.
Yeah.
And then the keyboard and the mouse are Bluetooth. They're not connected to anything.
Right, okay.
I can walk over there and
with
work.
Your keyboard.
That's right. And when I want to work on my desk, I just move the keyboard off the desk, and I've got all this space now instead of, everything being clogged up in front of me.
Well, I did have a wireless keyboard with a PC, and I could walk anywhere.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
I was on a mad tear. Then yesterday, I'm setting up my Netflix to come through my television set. Don't ask. I'm on a mad fucking technology.
Well, that's not that hard, Howard. Come on.
No, but in the middle of my new Apple, I had to go break away. I was on a technology tear. Then my phone has been fucked up because it keeps telling me that I have an unsent text message. I couldn't figure that out. I'm working on that. I'm working on the Apple.
So you got the new Droid it's giving you messages too?
Everything was on fire yesterday.
Because I'm like, okay, I like the BlackBerry. It has its drawbacks.
I'm an obsessive maniac. Do you
Will
understand?
I change to the Droid?
I don't know what you're going to do. I'm done advising you because I don't want to be blamed. I'm out of the Robin advice business. My advice to you is don't listen to me.
Good apple?
I'm going to buy one, yeah, absolutely.
You'll get used to it, and you can even, I think you could like fucking pick that thing up. I got a mouse, by the way, that you can do this with. Like,
oh yeah,
I use it in the home
There's
theater.
little shit with the Apple that bothers me because it's not the same as the PC. You know what I mean? Like just like
drives me nuts.
Yeah.
You got it, Apple?
No, I'd love to get one. I mean, I'm not a huge Apple guy, but their laptops are
That thing Ronnie said about the plug that looks like it's going to break, it's actually designed very cleverly. It's a magnet.
So it's flat.
So it's also a magnet, so
Right.
it's like if you bump into it, it'll fall off.
That's
and won't
right.
break.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, it's
He's
when you
talking
about
to
the
me
power
yesterday.
cord.
It's going to break. It's going to break. It's going to break.
Why would you
I
go to
haven't seen
Ronnie
it,
for
but I
any
think it's
computer
fine.
advice? The guy.
It wasn't advice. That's why I did it myself. I hooked the cord. I strung it through. When I say strung it through, it's a whole process because it's not like we plug it into an ashtray to light it. It's an actual AC. So it was a whole thing.
Oh, did you
so I
ever-
went in the back. I said, I'm not going to bother him. I'm just going to do it. So, you know, it was a whole big deal.
Those are some really sexual stories, man.
Okay.
We always knew that you were a ladies' man, but we didn't know that it went this far back.
Yeah, it came to me. I didn't chase it. I didn't chase this woman. You know.
So you became a sexual dynamo because it found you, not because you
Yeah, I mean,
sought it out.
it was just something that happened. You know, I don't know what was up. You know what she was thinking, but whatever.
Do you think it
Well,
lit,
good for her. I hope she's happy wherever she is.
Do you think that lit the erotic spark in you?
No, man, I was lit way before that.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's not something you can learn. It's just something that's inborn.
It started. I told it on the wrap-up show. And we didn't get into it here, but I told it on the wrap-up show. This kid, you know, this girl I used to hang out with. It's like 11 years old, and we used to just hang out every afternoon. Sneak up to my apartment.
But it was raw instinct. It wasn't something that you had to be taught by an older brother, an older cousin.
I'm an only child, man, so nobody taught me shit. Taught myself.
You're a natural.
It's the Scorpio in me, man.
Howard brought up a lot of underlying feelings you must be having. You know, teetering between saying, hey, everybody go F themselves. This is a volunteer position. It's causing me a lot of grief. But then there's the other side, the I will not be bullied, I will not back down.
Right.
Where are you feeling right now? What's
when I got home last night, I was sort of like, you know what, screw this. I'm just going to drop out. And Mary was like, you know, she's like, I could tell you. She goes, I could see you're all amped up, and you know, because it's not worth it. What do you need this crap for? And she's like, when's the next thing? I go, it's on my birthday. She's like, we should be home celebrating your birthday. Why would we want to be in front of a bunch of people who are going to get up and talk about what a horrible person you are? But I'm this morning of the feeling like I'm going to forge ahead. You know what? I've come this far. It's, you know, Monday's the day. I'm still on the fence now about whether I don't have to be at the meeting that they vote on me at. I don't have to be there. So there's a part of me that says, you know what? Maybe I'll just go out and celebrate my birthday and let them vote. If they vote me out, they vote me out. They vote me in, they vote me in. I'll get a phone call. And like, that's sort of be it. I don't need to, you know, I don't need to be, I've already been part of the process twice.
Right. And did Howard inspire you to sort of swing back to the other side of I'm not
No,
going
I
back
think
down?
when I woke up this morning, I had already decided. Like last night, I was a little bummed out about it, but I woke up this morning and I sort of decided while I was driving in the car that I'm going to move ahead.
Now, Howard also mentioned that this whole debate and this whole controversy is sort of symbolic of what the show stands for, of like these nudniks, as Howard calls them, representing the masses, and it's not fair.
Yeah, there were people who suggested to me last night that that saying that I wasn't fully qualified was a smokescreen, and I tend to believe that.
So have you thought about using the show to your advantage, about staging some